My name is Juma Juma. Stay tuned to Off Pitch Africa. Keep watching.
I want us to move on, and this is a very sensitive one. It's matter finances, because mismanagement has been factors as the key affecting the sports, its growth and its development. So again, what are some of these loopholes with the way financing is being done that is ensuring that the sports can grow?
As you've said, this is a very sensitive topic.
It's a very sensitive one.
Yeah. Previously, I have had an experience which I took the financials of the union, I think for 2016 to 2019. I sat down and did an analysis of all the incomes the union received and all the expenses they received for that period. Yes, I am a practicing accountant, so yes.
If we didn't mention it before, yes?
Yes. So I actually went through the financials in detail and pointed out areas which I thought we needed to have a redress in terms of what was happening. Just asking those accountability questions.
Yeah.
And there was a very huge backlash in terms of people saying, why are you asking these questions? In what capacity are you asking these questions? People forget one thing. While at campus, I served in the student council representing sports people as a congressperson. I have participated in doing mobilization in terms of raising funds for sports, just looking for sponsors. If you have a tournament, football tournament, guys will come to me and say, we have a tournament, we are looking for sponsors to give us, we want an ambulance, we want some money for awards. And I will help people just basically approach institutional companies such as Coke supported us. We had Red Bull supported a few of the activities in the institution, and many others. And what all these people look at is accountability. No one wants to give you money if you cannot account for it.
Yes, true.
Nobody will give you money if you cannot account for it. So just allow me to finish. So one thing that is very important is people will tell you that the union does not have money. And sometimes I say, I agree, maybe the union does not have money.
Yes.
But the little money that we give you in terms of player registrations, subscriptions, transfer fees, get collection, the rent that you collect, please, can you account for that? Just account for that little that you receive. That is all we are asking for.
Yes.
The little money that you receive, just account for it. And it is written in the KHU constitution. I was surprised the other day. I've actually read this constitution so many times, but I was surprised there is a provision that I had missed. The KHU constitution actually says that one of the responsibilities of the treasurer of the union is that they will prepare management accounts and report to the union on a quarterly basis. On a quarterly basis. So it means, even as far as the law is concerned, the union should be giving us quarterly management accounts that we can see for this quarter. This is how much they have collected.
Available for all the past quarters in the very least.
Exactly. This is in your constitution. It is not something that we have an imagination of us as players.
Yes.
This is in your constitution. The responsibility of the treasurer, they will prepare quarterly management accounts and report to the council. So once they have reported to the council, what they're supposed to do now is to cascade that information to the CHA. So we will sit and say, for this quarter, this is how much we collected. This is how we have expended the money. These are the records.
Yes.
So just for the little that you have, can you be accountable for that? Just give us records.
Only.
Give us records.
Were you successful in this request, Juma?
Previously, of course, you know what happened. There was a lot of push and shove. It actually led to me being banned from the activities of the union, which I have no regrets. This year, I have requested for financials of the union for 2023. And let me say something before you come in. We have a document called the Public Finance Management Act, PFM Act of 2012. The PFM Act of 2012 is a regulation that gives, basically tells us how any public organization And a union will fall under what you call a public organization, because it is running the sport in trust. So it falls under the category of a public organization.
It does.
So the PFM Act says that every 3 months after the end of a financial year, any public organization is supposed to prepare financial statements and cause those financial statements to be audited by an independent auditor.
Yes.
Within 6 months after the end of the financial year end, any public organization is supposed to have sent those financials to members and cause an annual general meeting to be held in which those financials will be discussed.
Yes.
We are in July of 2024. The union's financial year end is December. So it means by March of 2024, 31st March of 2024, the financial statements should have been prepared
Yes.
and caused to be audited by an independent auditor, and an AGM held within 3 months after 31st March. So by the end of June,
Yes.
we should have had a record. You as a player, you should have have a record,
the record
of those financial statements through your CHA or through your club.
On the very least, maybe not to every individual player, but at the CHL level or at the club level, this information need to be with them.
Exactly. That information should be available even to you as a player. Yes. If you request your club, I want financials of the union for 2023, those financials should be availed to you. However, I can tell you this without flinching, that the financials of the union for the year ending December of 2023, the audit has not been completed. It is not completed.
It's ongoing or not completed, in that it's non-existent. Which is which?
Of course, they say it is ongoing. And the financials for the 2 previous years were done in a single audit. Remember, audit is supposed to be done every financial year.
Yeah.
But here's a case where they have run 2 financial years without quarterly management accounts, and now combining audit for 2 years.
3 years.
That is in contravention of the PFM Act of 2012. So these are the questions that we ask in a very polite way, that we should have goodwill from the people that we have entrusted with the responsibility to manage the sport.
Yes.
If you have been told that please avail financial statements, please avail. Just do the bare minimum.
Or not forget to do it on a quarterly as it's supposed. Do them, have them available on a regular again as it should.
Exactly.
Job, you wanted to say something on this matter?
On the previous statement that Juma talked about, you find that we are lacking ways of now attracting the corporates, the way you said, because now you find that the kind of corporates that needs to be added on board in terms of sports, they are being given now to content creators. The few adverts that need to be done with players are being given out to content creators, and you wonder, you have good players who can use the platform to market that kind of, let's say for instance, a brand, and that's what the main thing that we are undoing, because players need to do that kind of work, because you can't give an advert, for example, that has let's say energy drink, you're giving it to a content creator who doesn't understand the kind of sport that you're advertising.
Asking them to push.
Yeah, and you have players who can do that. So one thing we need to understand that I always say this, and I always talk to this to the young people. You're into the social space, but the way they're using the social space in terms of now marketing the sport, they're not doing it well, because the moment they'll understand, you find that I'll use an example. For example, you see football, Maju, the younger generation, we find that they reach at a level in terms of years. We find that wamekuwa verified, their social account, and they're being given brands to market at a tender age. So what can we do to probably now attract those corporates in terms of now marketing, advertising, and all that? Yeah.
Just allow me to give a rejoinder on what Job has said. I think it's all about brand value. Let me give an example. At the moment, Omanyala is a brand ambassador of Sifao. He's a brand ambassador of
Adidas.
What is it called? Visa. I think
Visa.
Visa, MasterCard. Yes, exactly. Why do you think all these organizations are warming up to the Omanyala, because Omanyala has positioned himself as a brand.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
Yes.
anyone that looks at Omanyala sees this is a very huge brand.
Yeah, this is a big guy.
Yes. Sometime I think in 2019, I challenged a few players. Victor Osiche, I told a few players that I want to manage your brand. I want to manage you as a sports person. I want to manage your brand, so that anytime you are playing, I will come take photos of your match, of that match. I will shoot a few video clips of you playing, and I'll just push your brand out there, so that anyone that looks at you does not look at you as Job Simiyu. They look at you as
a
the
brand.
brand that is Job Simiyu.
Yes.
So then that way, because you see, it is a value exchange between anyone that wants to give you money as a sponsor, they'll be asking themselves, what value am I getting in return?
Yeah, true.
So if you push your brand, sport is a product. It's a product like any other product. Like you can go and buy an iPhone. Why do you think iPhone 15 is expensive? It's because there is brand value. There is someone has.
The name has been built
Exactly.
over time, so someone is assured if they associate with it, something additional will also
Will come out of it.
trickle to
Exactly.
their end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So build your brand. Let your brand be so big that someone will tomorrow say, I want to give Job Simiyu a hockey stick to advertise.
At the very least.
Yes. I want to give them shin guards to advertise. I want to give them all these, because I mean, you can get all this equipment
Yeah.
from a company that is producing them, and the brand value you are giving them is that you are giving them, they see you have a lot of visibility. Let's say, for
Get
example,
sales out of
exactly, if Job, you are posting a photo on Instagram and it is getting a lot of engagement, I mean, you can approach someone and tell them, if you give me a hockey stick to advertise, you're going to get a lot of brand loyalty.
Get this number of guys buying the stick or using the stick within my league, for example. Yes.
Exactly. Let me give another example. Mad Goats TV,
TV, yeah.
we had a partnership between Magongo and Mad Goat to have them come into hockey to cover hockey, because I was asking these guys, how come you cover basketball,
Every other
football,
sport
every
part.
other sport apart
from
from hockey?
Yes.
But these guys told us, what do you mean? You guys have never invited us?
We have a
We've
pair
never
of
invited
this.
you.
That's
We've
usually
never
the
invited
situation.
So imagine, we went to Camp Toyoyo for a football match, sat there with these guys, we helped them to do some work, and then we had an agreement that we will have a conversation so that they can come and do a test match for hockey. And we did a test match, and
amazing.
it was very big.
Really amazing.
And one conversation we had with the team and Mad Goat, they were telling us that the brand of hockey is so small. The only fans that we have in hockey are the players.
The players, yeah.
Are the players themselves.
Yes.
So can we do something about it, such that you move the value of this sport from here
To a different level.
to a very high level, that if today a sponsor comes in and they tell you, nataka kuwapatia 100,000, we will take that money, because we cannot negotiate.
Yes.
We have no brand value.
Yeah.
We have no brand value. We cannot negotiate. We will take anything. They can only tell us that we will give you 50,000. We will take it, because we do not have brand value. So why can't we push the brand value from here, take it so high that when someone is coming to negotiate with us for visibility, they see, if they come to the stadiums, they will see it is so full. We have so many fans. Away from the players, we have so many fans.
Yes.
The visibility is so huge. And the brand value starts with the players.
Players too.
Let me tell you, if you have 2,000
Followers.
followers on Facebook or
Yep.
TikTok or whatever platform that you use,
Let's say for instance, you have more than 2,000 followers on Facebook, on TikTok,
Yes.
on Instagram, and I'm so sure those are different followers.
People you are reaching.
Yeah, there. And one thing I realized, one communication. We've lacked communication from different, let's say for example, from different clubs. I can use an example of I'm a sports enthusiast, and I always follow Yanga Football Club. When you see the structural design that Yanga is using right now, Not even right now. The previous, let's say, 4, 3, 4.
seasons
Yeah,
back.
yeah. First of all, they have a media communicator. One. They have their own personal photographer. Two, the president, the kind of work the president is doing. Recently, they invited Ashraf Hakimi in Tanzania. Then you find that the way they are marketing, you find that one, you can get the amount of followers Hakimi has on his social space. That it's more than actually.
Worldwide.
It's actually
So
more than
if
20
he
million.
goes endorsing what you're doing,
Exactly.
it's not only
That is
within.
huge.
Yes.
You find that we are lacking that kind of structural design of how we're supposed to run this kind of program, for example. The moment we will understand how to market this sport, I'm telling you, this younger or young generation, they are going to have a proper way of now attracting different corporates, for example. And how are we going to educate them in terms of now the marketing structural design or module, for example, because you can't really take something and just do it because you're doing it. You have to have a proper module of how we're going to run it, for example. Then another thing, the communication. We are the I'll say we are the most vocal people in terms of now communicating and probably sharing the kind of work craft that we are doing. The moment we will understand this craft now, we'll now have to find a way of now attracting different corporates, the kind of design that you're doing. The moment we reach that level now, we'll it will be easier for any player or any club to attract corporates. Yeah.
At this point, I would want all clubs within the hockey scene, please reach out to Juma Juma, reach out to us if ever you need some guidance on how you need to put your marketing out there, information on what your club is doing, all of that. Please reach out because it's becoming very important. And I saw this with UFC. They hold regular seminars with even the fighters themselves because these are the people who are pushing the brand
Yes.
of that particular UFC organization. So these awarenesses keep on happening on a regular, starting from the players or fighters themselves. Then it trickles over all the way to the overall sports organization.
Exactly.
I saw a similar conversation also in the sports scene, where Sofapaka has more engagement online than Gor Mahia. And now I was wondering if Gor Mahia can do better in also ensuring the engagement is up to par with these guys. With the achievement that they already have, could their demand go even higher? Yeah. So I'm realizing the importance of clubs or individuals doing this regular brand awareness or branding themselves in a particular way to ensure that they can grow as individuals or even as clubs. So again, a challenge back to everyone. If the sports need to grow, if we need to get more than just the players themselves being the fans of the same sport, we need to do a lot more together. It's not a one-person thing. If ever we need to have a change on that.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe I want us to move the conversation on a little bit. The prize money in the Kenya Hockey League. Have we ever had a prize money for any of the leagues? Maybe 5, 6 seasons back. Has this something ever been effected?
I think recently there's just been one time where we got the union got a sponsor on board that gave, I think, the individual awards. There was some cash awards for individual players, but in terms of getting prize money for the league, I think it's been a bit elusive. One, because of the challenge of getting sponsors on board. Yes.
Then this is something we, for a start, in the very least, need to have a conversation or communication how that can improve on. Moving on the level
before you move on,
competition.
Before you move on, as far as the prize money is concerned, try ask yourself why. We've had several tournaments. Last year, to be particular, we had a tournament in Kakamega where there was very serious prize money.
It was.
We had a tournament in Eldoret, Mwenye Hockey Festival. There was a very serious prize money.
Yes.
We had, I think, another tournament in Parklands. We've also had a tournament here recently. Yes. So I'm just trying to ask myself, why is it that when we hold a tournament,
we can get sponsors and prize money and not at the national level?
And even forget the prize money. can we just get at the bare minimum proper awards? A trophy that you will go home and feel, I have won the Kenya
I have
Premier League,
achieved.
I have a proper trophy. If it's those personal awards, I have something that I feel it is worth the struggle for a season. That has happened. I'm just trying to, when we went to Eldoret to cover the Mwenye Hockey Festival, I looked at the individual awards, those customized pieces, placards.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was amazing.
these guys looked
Well prepared.
extremely prepared.
Yeah.
And they did not have any corporate sponsor. It was just the registration fees, and of
Yes.
course, calling well wishers here to say, we want to do this in honor of Mwenyewe.
Yeah.
So I mean, where there is goodwill, we can even have that prize money.
Okay.
Yes. Where there's goodwill, we can have that prize money.
I wanted to check on the competition level. There's been a lot of outcry on our competitiveness at the continental level, even in the World Hockey Five-a-side, which maybe they did well, but generally Kenya competition level has really gone down. What's attributing to this, and how can we improve on it?
Okay. One is remember hockey in Kenya. We get our players from the development, either a development program, structured development program, or high school.
Yes.
Most of our players, we are getting them from high schools. So the question we ask ourselves is, what is the quality of players that are coming out of our high schools? I think last year or the year before, we went for the Federation of East Africa school games, and we lost to a Ugandan team. I think for 2 years in a row we have lost to a Ugandan team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uganda, which is a country we've been beating left, right, and center for very many years.
It is.
But if they beat us at school level, trust you me, a few years down the line, that will reflect
The national
at
level.
national team level. And they were here for a test series, and they beat us proper. So, if the quality of players from grassroots level is going down,
Yeah.
if there is no proper structure to transition even that pool of players into either campus or
Club
clubs, then it means those standards will dwindle.
They're dimming.
Yes. And number two, in terms of our international exposure, how many times do we play? How many times do we have other countries coming here just to test ourselves? I mean, even if you are in school, you are a student, you must do some mock exams before you prepare for the main one.
Yes,
Yeah.
you have to.
Yes. So how are we preparing ourselves in terms of getting international exposure with teams that are better than us in terms of maybe ranking or in terms of their quality of their hockey?
Good.
Because the success won't come once. It has to
Exactly.
be gradual and consistently, so that at some point, maybe 5 years down the line, then you can start counting.
Exactly.
The transition.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other thing, I speak to a few officials across Africa, Eswatini, Botswana, we have Cameroon. These are countries that have, in terms of the rankings in Africa, they are below us by far.
By far. In
But-
terms of success of this in the sport, can't come close to what
Yes.
Kenya has done.
Exactly. But whatever they are doing now, if we continue on this trajectory, they'll beat us. Eswatini, I can tell you for free, Eswatini will beat us in a few years, because now they have proper structures for
Running.
indoor hockey. They have proper structures. They have now started doing now outdoor hockey.
Something we are still not taking really seriously.
Exactly.
The indoors.
Botswana doing indoor hockey. They have outdoor hockey. They are doing test matches with the likes of South Africa, Zimbabwe.
That's good exposure.
Botswana, in a few years, if we continue this way, they will beat us. Because these people know what they are doing.
They've set a proper structure of how they're
Exactly.
running the
They know what they are doing.
Okay. Infrastructure-wise, the only remaining turf we used to have is now closed. We are at a privately owned sports field right here, or turf. what's going on with the hockey infrastructure in Kenya? What's that about?
You can take it back, whereby now what we talked about now, having proper grounds on that are supposed to be used. For example, ukikuwa na a good ground whereby now players are coming, are trickling in terms of now training, laying proper structures. How are we going to help these players? For example, if you're picking players from the campus level, I'll say most of the hockey players are graduates. But now, if you can't have a proper structure, how you're going to lay in terms of now helping those players, the ones that you're picking from the campus level, you're going to stuck at a place whereby now there's no growth. There's no growth because now, one, the way you was talked about, you're having a proper structure, bringing corporates on board, setting or laying different players to work probably on a different level or different areas. One, the moment you'll have a proper structural environment on how you're running this thing, it's going to be easier because now players are probably working and playing at a tender age, for example. Now, without having that structure, it's going to be hard for our end. Yeah.
Maybe just to add something, for infrastructure in terms of facilities, government is a very key stakeholder. Like the turf that is closed for renovations, of course there were promises made by government in terms of funding for the surface. But away from government, and this, of course, this cuts across all sports. In Kenya, volleyball, for example, there is only one standard pitch that can host an international match for volleyball in Kenya.
Yeah.
Football, we do not have any.
Yeah.
That is why we've been playing in Malawi, or I think we played in Malawi. Yes,
It's Malawi.
exactly. A sport like netball does not have any standard pitch. It's very many sports in Kenya where we do not have any standard surface that we can hold.
So it's not a situation.
It is
being
not.
isolated
It's
to
not an
only the
isolated
hockey
situation for
Okay.
hockey
Alright.
alone. But having said that, I think we have very many private facilities for hockey in this country. We have this surface here. Most of these schools, international schools, have their own private surfaces. If I look at it this way, if as a sport we are able to push ourselves to a level government can see that we are out there and shining. Remember, because government has budget.
It does.
They
Back to it, wanting to only source it to a brand which is standing out, who will help them sell
exactly,
the overall.
exactly.
Okay.
They are likely to support rugby because they can see we are back to the main we are in the main circuit.
Yes, yes.
So between hockey and rugby, if today the president of rugby requested for us as a stadium, standard surface, and hockey, which sport do you think is going to be
I
supported?
give it to rugby, no doubt, for sure.
Exactly.
Yes.
So one, with our own private resources and with the little that we have, can we be very accountable that if we approach someone and tell them, surely, look here, this is for the little that we have had, using our own private resources, this is what we've been done. Case in point, South Africa. The last time they were playing in the Pro League, players were funding their own, they were funding themselves. But it felt so shameful to government until they came in to support. Because, I mean, these players are going out there,
Yes.
they are making your country shine. You have not given them any money.
They did something equally amazing, getting the Pro League to be played even down in South Africa.
Exactly.
The first of its kind. So,
Exactly.
It gives it's like giving back kono back to you in studio government. What do you have to
Exactly.
say? The same?
So these guys are supporting themselves. They have gotten corporates to support them. Government will say, we cannot claim the glory, because at the end of the day, a sports minister or someone will want to come to the airport and celebrate. But how will they celebrate without giving you money?
True.
So with the little that you have, can you be so much accountable that someone will be compelled to support you? Because, I mean, if with limited resources, we have a situation where, for example, if you have 20 teams to take to an international event, and you only have resources to support 10 teams,
10 teams.
what criteria will you use to eliminate these 10? Performance.
Only.
Only results. You need to get results.
Performance.
Yeah.
Performance.
Yeah. What's your take about this, the upcoming season and all these hullabaloo happening before it kicks off?
Allow me to be blunt about this. I think whatever is happening points out to a union that is not serious with their work, not serious with their mandate. We cannot say it is a problem of government, as they have put it, that government has not supported them in terms of doing renovations to the stadium. We cannot say it is the players or clubs have not been compliant. Of course, we will take the blame as players.
Equally, yes.
We will take the blame
Yeah.
for what we have not done in terms of complying with the Sports Act.
Yes.
And our mandate as people in the fourth estate is going to push as much as possible to have the players play their part.
Yes.
Support at club level to have their clubs comply, and also support at the CHL level to have the CHS to comply.
Yes.
However, as far as I'll take you back to the mandate of the union in the constitution. Do you think they are doing promotion of the sport? The answer is no. Do you think they are doing development of the sport? The answer is no. So they have failed in their mandate to support growth of the sport by running an active league.
Okay.
That they have to take a loss on. It's a loss on
They
them.
have to take that up.
Exactly.
Yes.
So by having the leagues not being played, it is squarely on the union. They have failed to either to get stakeholders on board that can help them to manage everything, because they're blaming it on resources. But again, you do not have resources because the little that you have, currently players are complaining and clubs are complaining. You say you want us to give you money for the league. After giving you money for the league, you want us to go ahead and pay
Yeah.
for
Some of
the
the
surfaces.
facilities,
So,
So the money that we are giving you, it is for doing what?
is it not enough, or
running the body.
What do you mean running the body?
Running the
Because PHU has a secretariat, a few staff, I think 2 or 3 staff that are paid by the union. The guys that maintain the city park.
day-to-day
But
running
currently
of
it is closed. Even if those guys are still on payroll, they do not. That is not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money.
Okay.
I'm sure if they were open with their records, tell us our payroll is this much in a month, players will contribute and pay the staff.
Because the goodwill from the players is already evident.
It is there. It is there. Players want to play. No wonder. Currently, if there is any avenue for players or for teams to participate in any tournament, you will see that the turnout
Will be large.
will be very
Large,
large,
Yes.
because people want to play. But what has the union done in terms of promoting growth of the
It's
sport?
not doing
They have
enough
not
to
done.
ensure that
They have
is
not done
happening.
that. They have gagged media. They have gone into doing petty administrative duties, following people on social media, instead of doing everything as per the mandate of the constitution. So this is strictly a failure on the union.
in the union?
Yes.
Job on your end,
I think Juma has summarized
everything.
everything, and just one question that I really needed to ask him. The union hasn't hawajakuwa na any election as per the constitution, and they were to have an election. Probably what I was hearing was they need to have an election so that the league ends. But now they have not had that election. Do you think right now is it the right time to have probably younger leaders who know what they're doing and probably want to contribute to the growth of the sport?
Yes, I think, and that has been my clarion call. I think for the last 5 years, we tried to contribute to the development of the sport. In what way? One, giving the sport visibility. We made it very affordable for players to build their own brands. So avail photos at an almost zero cost, so that at an individual level you can build your own brand. We try to support the union by bringing people on board that would
help
the sport in terms of growing the brand. However, I can tell you for free that the union, as constituted now, does not have any new ideas in terms of their ability to grow the sport. They do not have any new ideas.
Because you find that they have not incorporated probably the structural element of how they are running the league. They haven't incorporated the younger people who have a proper mindset of how the league, or rather an institution, needs to be run. Because right now I'm so sure we have vibrant, not even players, but at least vibrant, innovative ideas that these people have, whereby they really need to be put together so that at least we need to help the sport grow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me give you 3 examples.
Go on.
One, we are in 2024, and the union is sending clubs invoices that are handwritten in 2024.
We have e-teams in the very least. Sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Handwritten invoice to a club in 2024. Number 2, all the officials of the union are using their personal emails to run union business.
Do we have the union official accounts? These are just questions I'm asking while you are pointing out this.
There is one,
Yeah.
but an info email. However, when clubs are sent communication
Yes.
by the Secretary General, it is from his personal account. So if we are doing transition management, for example, if today we held elections
Yeah.
and the Secretary General is not re-elected
Yes.
as Secretary General, the records that he has in his personal email, is he going to hand over those records to the union? The answer is no.
Because he's the one who
That
has
is a personal
access to
email.
them.
It's
Yeah.
a personal email. So these are the very basic things. Imagine you approaching a sponsor to tell them that you want support you want some 10 million
For a
to be able
union,
to
and
run
I'm
the league.
using my
and then you are sending them an email at
own.
Hotmail. From a personal email,
Already
you are looking for
question
10 million
marks
from
there.
a personal email.
That's questionable.
I will not even look at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's questionable.
I will not look at it.
So maybe last words on anything you feel that we haven't touched on and we shouldn't end without saying this is the opportunity. Start with Juma, then we finish with you, Job.
I think for me, it's just to say that the success of this sport is an orchestra. In this sense, when you are running an orchestra band, if the drummist does not do his job, the band, everything
Collapse.
is cooked.
Yes.
If the guy that is the guy doing the conducting gives you wrong instructions,
The overall.
all of us have failed.
Yes.
If the guy on the violin
Give you a
has,
different.
for some reason,
note.
has a bad note, all of us
Everything collapse.
have failed. So in this orchestra that is hockey, we have government, we have the union and the leadership in terms of FIH and Africa Hockey Federation. We have clubs, we have the players who are the most important stakeholders. Let's know that in this orchestra, all of us have a part to play. We have the media, and I think we are one of the luckiest sports that we have players that are also involved in media.
Sharing
So when
their
they're covering the
profession.
sport, they are covering the sport from a point of knowledge.
And understanding.
Yes, not a football person coming to take some hockey shots one day and then running away.
Yes.
So for this orchestra to work, all of us need to be on the same page. Exactly. Let all of us play our part. Let everyone punch above their weight.
Yes.
We cannot be having players punching above their weight in terms of availing themselves training, and then we have CHS that are not registered. We cannot have CHS that are registered, and then we have a union that does not want to play their part. We cannot have a union that is functional and then have the regional organization in terms of Africa Hockey not doing their part. So this orchestra depends on all of us.
Yes.
So all of us, let's punch above our weight. Let's support the sport. Because remember, I want my children to play hockey at some point.
I do, yes.
But in the sport as currently constituted, I do not want them close to hockey.
Okay.
I do not want them close to hockey as currently constituted. But I am fighting so hard to have proper structures, because tomorrow I want them to join the sport and enjoy the sport. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Juma. Job on your end.
One thing I'll say today, I'll call Juma today as the people's watchman, because he has been one of the few people who have been championing the change of the sport. And the way you just said, I'll just put some clarity so that at least we understand what people needs to do and what you are doing. First of all, I'll say this: we need to have your comments as viewers and people who are people who are in sports, this sport as well, and at least tell us what you really need to see the change. First of all, we talked about the leadership. You need to have a proper way of leading, guiding and managing the sport, so that at least people who are coming on board, let's say for instance the players themselves, they need to know the kind of role that they are playing. They're not playing as their role is not just playing and leaving. What role are they playing or taking through, let's say for example, through club level? People need to take their own responsibilities, for example. And another thing, understand the craft that or the space that we are in right now. It's let's find a way of making it grow. For instance, the social spaces, the social media, the media itself, in terms of now streaming most of the games, because you find that I'll say hockey is one of the fewest sports that has never been streamed, and that's true. Well, what are we going to do as people who are in, let's say for example, the people who are in the media spaces? How are we going to find a way of now streaming these games and marketing it to a different level, and so that at least the younger generation needs to know what it's being done and what they need to do in terms of playing and probably marketing the sport at a different level.
Okay. Yeah. Where can we keep in touch with the job?
You can find me as on Instagram as Mac Simiyu. I'm very much available. That's the space that we are using currently, and we need to find a way of now making this sport grow.
Okay. How can we keep up with you, Juma? I'm sure a lot of guys are still DMing you, clubs,
Yes.
county associations who are having issues, and one I'm really advocating for even the players who need to build a better brand profile for themselves. How can they keep in touch with you?
So Magongo Kenya is available on Facebook, on Instagram as Magongo Kenya. So look us up, Magongo Kenya, and also on YouTube, Magongo Kenya. I also have a personal profile, Juma Juma, X at it's Juma Juma, Facebook Juma Juma, TikTok Juma Juma. So just search Juma Juma, you'll find me, and I'm also available on YouTube. Yes.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. And I want to echo to the fans out there, this is not a conversation that is ending right now. The road is being pointed out, and for us to read of it, we need the whole orchestra to play their beat. So this is Off Pitch Africa on all social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and also on X. I really appreciate you, gentlemen, for coming here on board to this conversation with us. And now we are taking it back to the audience back at home. You need to understand your sports, understand the rules and regulations around it, so that you can better take charge of the decision being made, or even the direction it's supposed to take for the future. So thank you very much. Keep engaging with us, and definitely we'll be having this gentleman back over again to see how much development is going on and what needs to be done. Until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.